Good evening, Pretoria. Man, it is super exciting to be here today. It is super exciting. Um, there's this thing we've been talking about it for a while. It's called Pretoria, and we're gonna talk some details. We're gonna actually, give some information and let you guys know when it's coming. I just want to start off and say it's soon. Um, Weird Beard, is it today? Are we doing it today, right now?
What? It's
Are
a
we?
very loaded.
I know, but we got to. I'm going to go back and forth between dates. Is it today? Is everything going live today?
No,
No. Well,
no.
that's not the way that we're going to do things. Is it going to be by the end of the year?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's sometime in there. I'm just doing a little like tease. I don't know. I'm not much of a tease.
You half scared me. I responded to somebody on Discord, and I hear today, and I don't know, like
Yeah,
lost
it's
all the
not.
blood in my head.
Yeah, Sticky Hick, I'm totally excited. This is we've been doing this forever, and it's been all encompassing and one of the biggest projects that we've worked on as a company. And the damn thing is pretty damn close. How close is it, Weird Beard? What do you want to say about it tonight?
I mean, we have a little bit of a announcement and update and everything that should get people's juices flowing. But I would say it is closer than expected.
Okay. Well, what do you want to share some of that announcement, or do you want to announce the announcement that in the next 5 minutes we're going to announce that announcement?
Yeah, I think more than anything, we should get in here and remind people that this is our town square, which is a little bit more laid back than our town halls that we hold every other week. Those are the official business board meetings where you get to hear about all the inside stuff. And these town squares are way more of the Monty Python version of everything that we do around here.
I like to think of it as the Muppet Show, but
Oh, perfect.
whatever.
Yes.
Da. All right. So, yeah, I guess just a little bit about that. Just a little pregnant pause to keep you guys in suspense. Yeah, tonight is the town square. You guys are going to be welcome to speak. If you guys want to go hop in, you can raise your hand, and if you want to ask some questions, you can do the questions too. Just put it in bold, put it in all caps, and put that up there. And we'll go listen to your questions and try to do that. Uh, and also, just hey, please do your best to not like be horrific to any of the commentators or any of the other people. And then also, please don't put like truly naughty things into chat. All right, Weird Beard, I'm dying to say some stuff, so I want you to say it before I say it, because if I say it, it might be wrong. But if you say it, it can't be wrong.
You're like a little boy who's about to pee his pants. Like, I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go. We gotta get the baby out. We've been working on this baby for a long time, and we gotta get the baby out.
The announcement that we kind of been kicking around is that by the end of this upcoming weekend, we should hopefully have Land 1.5 out on the Mavs test server. That is our stated goal. We are still in QA periods. It is subject to everything is on fire. You guys don't get to see it. However, everything.
Big. However, there's a
However.
big caveat to this.
More than anything else, everything is subject to last minute polish and issues, but we really want to get something out for players to be able to touch, see, and know that it's real. So end of the weekend, you should be able to expect some updates going out onto the Mav server for you to start playing around with Land 1.5 and staking monsters on your land, clearing your land, and seeing what the whole experience is like.
Yeah. So this to me is awesome. It's also super daunting. This is a very large project. We've been super coy with the dates, but as a company, we're like dying to get this out. I'm dying to get this out. Matt's dying to get this out. I know Weird Beard wants to get the baby out. If there's something broken, or if there's something that is like totally screwy, we're not just going to push out random whatever. These are a target window. If it gets pushed back, you guys are all going to yell at us, and we're going to tell you, look, bro, relax, it's coming, but we can't ship a broken product.
Do we lose Aggie?
Little bits at the end, but not everything has been completely tested. So if there are bugs that we find, which is also part of why we put it on Maz before it goes live entirely, if there's bugs, it might actually push back the release, but we'll see. Um, we'll see about that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I again, the big reason why is for all of this, if we let Mavs in too early and let players in, it's sort of that first impression is the only impression that you really get, right? So we're wanting to make sure that once it does hit Mav server, that is a moment of, hey, you get to play with it before everybody else, and less, leaning so heavily on outside bug testing and QAing, because we really should have our ducks in a row on this. We've been working on it for so long. There's just no excuse to have people see it and they go, wow, this still seems pretty broken, because that's not what we want people to take away from interacting with land for the first time.
Yeah. That said, it's a giant coding project. So, this doesn't work like other battles. We're not just like adding another ability, and it's not just like, here's a new card for the splinter. Like, this is a giant freaking thing. So our attempt and our goal is to get it out sometime this weekend.
Yep.
But if something goes wrong, we're gonna relax a little bit. We're not gonna push this every little minute. And I don't want you guys breathing down our necks or the devs' necks. There's so much pressure internally that we don't need anything else external to go less mess with us. But
Yeah, and I can confirm that we just finished up a 2-hour long QA server or QA swarm that happened earlier this afternoon. We have more scheduled throughout the entire week, so we are hustling and bustling. We're closer to the end than we are the beginning, and that's all that matters to me, man.
we're announcing we're just starting land now. So what? Okay. So what? How did that QA swarm go? What was it? Flawless? Did we find little bugs? Did we? Are we totally screwed and everything's broken? Like what was the result of that?
I mean, we have bugs, but a lot of them are more bugs in the sense of, hey, we should change this, like how this works, and not this is not working as intended and is broken and needs to be fixed, right?
So is this just like tweaking buttons to go one place versus the other, or the order that things appear, or is this like?
Yeah, like,
Uh,
hey, this button's on the right, it should be on the left. Hey, we aren't displaying grain on this page, but it is on this page. Like, there's again, the items that are being talked about are essentially in a place now where when we QA it, we're deciding, does this stop the release of land, as opposed to, oh boy, let's sit back and think about, how much longer we have and see if we can squeeze it in. It's, if it is working as intended, it's going to get out there. And then, because we're immediately diving back in with that 1.6 follow-up, it's sort of, half in, half out of, hey, is it that bad? No. Okay. We'll get to it after the release. It's not going to be that bad. A lot of it's just like rounding out the edges, as opposed to building the whole thing from the ground up now.
yeah. So this is God, I've been waiting to make this announcement for like a month now.
I
Being
know
like,
you
we're
have.
gonna get it out there, everybody. It's happening right now. But I don't know. We have worked our tails off trying to get here. The dev team, the support team, the enhancement team, even the ops team. Everybody. There's like nobody in this company that hasn't touched this at least a little bit. So I don't know, man. Just a hell of a job by everybody trying to go get this thing into place and be ready. I mean, like this was a monumental undertaking, and we gave this to Weirdbeard, and Weirdbeard kept coming back, being like, "Dude, I need more people to go get this done if that's your timeline." And so, like all work on a lot of other things stopped just so that we could crank this out. That's how big this thing got. So. And that's not even like scope creep. It's just for us to go do the bare minimum of having this thing fully functional. That's it.
Well, it's a matter of, after talking to Farp, he put it really, really well the other day, is when we built 1.5, we were actually doing a lot of the groundwork for 1.5 and beyond, so that the stuff that follows up afterwards, we already have a foundation for, like, the staking actions and the API calls and like all this other stuff, right? So it's I hate using like building analogies because I'm a soft lily-handed girl. I don't I am no craftsman by trade whatsoever. But it's a lot of we spent time pouring the foundation and putting up the studs, and like drywalling and moving in furniture is the easiest thing that you can do after you build the entire thing. So after this of a massive project, it's going to hopefully be a lot less like pulling teeth.
Yeah. Um, so so we're gonna do this kind of in like a 1.5 and a 1.6 rollout.
Mhm.
What's the main thing that's going into 1.6 that didn't kind of make it into 1.5?
I mean, there's a couple different things. We've had people talk publicly about land surfing, but again, that's like something that's still being worked on internally. It's not, hey, land surfing's just sitting on a shelf and we didn't decide to do it. That's a massive undertaking. There's some market stuff that's in there. We have some, like just. I would really say that we also have the prefix titles that are in there. We have a lot of the lore integration. We have support stuff to make it easier so that our support agents can make sure that if people have issues with land, it's easier to follow up and track down problems with it. So I would say that outside of a small handful of like big items, it's a lot of small quality of life and um, updates that were like, hey, it'd be great to get this out, but it doesn't stop everything else from releasing. Really, is where it's at.
Um, okay. So, um, I mean, is this whole thing working, or is there something still left? Like what for the like 1.5? What are we doing this week? And then what happens when it gets on Mavs? And what do we? What is there any other timeline or like shape of this project that you kind of want to describe?
Not yet. I mean, again, we're still so deep in QAing that even looking a couple days ahead is tough. Because this last 10% of testing and buttoning things up is the most precarious time. This is when you really see like rubber meets the road. Did we build something that works? Like that's the kind of question that's being answered here. Um, and so, getting it out on Mavs, I think is also important to see and take the temperature of the room. If people are like hounding us with nonstop DMs and messages about how amazing everything is, that kind of changes the timeline for me a little bit, as opposed to people being like, it was whatever. Like, I don't care. Maybe then we need to double check and make sure it's doing exactly what we think that it should be doing.
So what is the main thing that we can do with land at this stage? So what part is working? What's going to go live on the server, and what are we going to be able to do?
So the biggest thing is the staking and clearing of your land plots. So you're able to clear the land, you're able to start production on grain, you're able to put monsters to work and have them power up using the power cores. You're able to use time crystals. You're able to buy, sell, and trade grain. You're able to essentially make functioning the function of land is there in that you can also determine, hey, do I want to go after secret of Pretoria research, or do I want to go after grain, or do I want to whatever you want to do, you're able to start as soon as it goes live. And I think that that's the biggest allure that so many people have been planning for is I want to make my stuff go live. How much what cards are going on and what they're being staked at. Because to me, that's the most not important, but the biggest impact that this is going to have. I'm really interested to see how many alpha cards are still out there in the wild after the staking goes live. How are they going to be split? Are they all going to work on the land plots, at a farm somewhere up north? Or will they still be out in the wild and seen in tournaments again?
All right. The what about Rooney? You didn't mention Rooney. Is that canned? Are we doomed? Rooney isn't in this patch, or
No, Rooney is in here. And by the
okay,
way, I
Rooney
misspoke.
is in
I
here.
said trade grain. I apologize. You can buy and sell grain before people start
Oh
coming with
god.
the
Yeah, we're
pitchforks.
gonna we're gonna get to grain in a second. So let's talk. I wanted to go finish up on when you're doing production, you're able to go in, you put your Rooney in, or you put your power core in, you add your monsters or your summoners to the
Mhm.
plots. You can add Rooney. Rooney is functional. And then we have the titles. So you can select the title if you have it. And then we also have totems, right? So you got to
Yep.
redeem your totem first. So that's probably a step that everybody needs to recognize is that right now nobody owns a totem. they all have totem claims. So you actually got to get your totem.
And I also will have to say, hold on, I have to delete a naughty message in our Discord. Um, yeah, I think the other thing too that's going to be great about it, um, is seeing how much and how people divide it, because you are going to have to make a choice, right? You're going to have to make a choice of if you are stacking all your Rooney where and how you're, committing them, and then what you're doing if you're going after research. Are you going after grain? Are you going after, what are you going to do here? Um, I know for a fact that there's big swaths of people like with Gankland and Gank and his entire castle keep and everything like that. Oh, that's another thing. You'll have keeps, castles, taxes, all those sorts of things like that. So if you are a keep and castle owner, you will have the functionality that goes out the door with those as well.
Okay. So hot topic that's still left is grain.
Mhm.
So what is going live with grain and what isn't going live with grain?
So we do have the grain market that will be going out in 1.6. The ability to like put it out there and have buyers that are found for your grain and whatnot. As it is right now, I think grain is essentially limited in its capacity, and it's important that we get it out with 1.6. But we thought that we would be able to um, still make it function, still make it work with the 1.5 release and what we have entrusted with it.
Um, so does that mean that there's no way to buy grain, and if I don't have it, I'm done?
No, no, no. You can still buy grain, but you're not buying grain from other players. Is essentially what you're doing right now.
Okay. And then so if we buy grain, is that money go to Splinterlands? Is that burnt? Does Weirdbeard get it all? Where does that go?
I believe it's burnt.
Yeah,
I
that's all
will.
burnt.
Okay. Yeah. See, I knew the answer to that.
Yeah.
It is burnt, so we're good.
Um yeah, Farp's in here too. Farp is probably the like main architect of this. Or maybe not. What do I call him? Main
he
construction worker, main dev. I don't
he is
know. I don't.
the founder, the plan. I don't know, the cult
He's the
leader of
blacksmith
land.
behind it all.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So Farp, if you want to come on and share anything, that'd be most welcome. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm totally excited for this because you gotta. I want you to keep in mind some some math or just some reality is like for land to be totally utilized, we need 7 billion DEC, and I don't know if you know this, but there's not that much DEC in the world. Um, there's something like 4.5 billion. Splinterlands has about 1 billion of that, so there's only 3.5 left, and a whole bunch of that's in liquidity pools. So somewhere between 2 and 3 billion is my guess of like what actually exists there. But we
Mhm.
need seven. Where are you going to get seven? You got to go to SBS. Well, SBS is interesting too because there's 1.1 billion of those. 630 or so are staked. You have 180 with the Dow, and you have 80 with Splinterlands. You probably have somewhere around about 100 million in liquidity pools. And so literally like 90% of the SPS is staked. So when we get here, and here is like a little bit after Friday, depending on how much Mav chicanery we find. Um, but the community is going to have to get their DEC, and there's not enough for everybody. And the only place to get your DEC is going to be buying and burning SPS. And there's not a lot of places to get that SPS because for practical purposes, there's really only 10% of the total supply that's like available for you guys to buy and burn. So
And I also want to point out this is all coming after we had the Great Burning event, which burnt like what was it, 500 something,
yeah,
400
500
million,
million.
just a gross amount of DEC that was DEC and DECB. I do have a video of what staking on land or slot management of cards and items looks like.
Yeah,
Should
let's
I?
post it. Hey, Ron,
I
well,
can't post it, but I have to share my screen on it.
can we talk to the clown? Clown, can you interject? Can we share?
Summon the clown. Yeah, if you could.
Okay.
Oh,
Hilarious.
okay. There,
Yeah,
he's
so
just talking in our ear.
we're gonna work on that. Is it which video is it? Is it the one that Hardpoint shared that's 3
Yes.
minutes long?
Yes.
All right. Let me I think I know how to go do this. So let me go pop this open real quick and then hopefully screen share with room, select the screen to share. It's going to be this. We pop this open.
I just
And
thought instead
then
of listening to us talk about it, it'd be nice to show some of the sexy stuff in operation.
yeah, I think that people will like this if I can figure out. I mean, I did not. You
My
should be able
government.
to. Let me pop.
The screen share is gone.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I took it down. I can share it if we're ready to roll.
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
all right. So you're doing it with Weird Beard
I'm
then?
ready. Yes, I'm here.
Nope.
No, that's why I did this. That's
How
all
long
right.
is the how
So
long is
if
the video?
3 minutes.
Well, I guess how big is this video? 39 megabytes? I think I can upload this.
Okay. Ooh.
All right. So if you start playing, why don't we talk through this?
All right. So this
Oh,
So what we
he's
can
not
do is
ready for it.
instead we can remind people, if you are interested, one of the favorite parts of these town squares is it allows people to ask your questions. If you do have a question, if you'd like to be able to be invited on stage and you want to talk to Aggie because you definitely don't want to talk to me, make sure you use that raise your hand function right there in Discord. We'd love to be able to get you on here and talk to you a little bit more.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna um I'm like holding back tears, just like so freaking pumped for this thing. I think it's awesome. Okay. Um, so we're waiting for Clown so that we can play this video and kind of talk through it. Why don't you, like, while we're, can anybody see the screen at all, or they
Not
can't?
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, can you get a screenshot and just
Or do you
put
just want
that?
to play it out of Discord?
No, we should do this the right way because we want
Okay.
this thing streaming so that
Ooh, you're right.
people that see this later can see it.
Nice
Um,
and big and sexy. Also
yeah,
known as Aggie's nickname.
big and sexy.
All right, here we
All
go.
right. You can play the thing. Well, there's no what can you annotate this and just kind of talk about what he's doing?
Yeah, so right now he's putting a Rooney on the power core slot and staking it there so that it is going to be able to start producing grain. As you can see, you can toggle with either just the Rooney or adding a power core as well. Up top is that power core. And now he's going to stick a couple different cards to start working his land. A Shinlo, and as you can see, it's showing, hey, I'm gonna fill it in here, and it's showing what your PP or production points are. So that Cryptmancer has 50,000 PP. You're able to sort your different collections, and it shows you, hey, this is going to be the best for where I'm at. Shows you all kinds of different things, not only by quantity, rarity, what foil, the BCX, great things. At the end, you see it says to do. That's a just placeholder that we currently have. That this is an older build because it will show you how much grain it's producing per hour and the last time that you had it staked. Um, so it's super exciting to be able to see. This is again though on a test server. There's no way that Hardpoint or anybody else has cards that look like this,
Excuse you, sir. I know at
except for
least
you.
I know one person that does.
But as you can see, he's filling up all of the worker slots there. Your title, because again, it's prefix titles that aren't making it in. Your main titles are still able to be in there. And it shows you the percentage boost. So, hey, I'm going to put the Burninator on there. And it adds a 50% production increase as well. You also have the artifacts at the end. Artifacts are your totems. So we'll get to that in just a second. Hey, look, we have an epic totem. So we're going to stake that epic totem on there. All able to be sorted.
Oh, so there's that claim totem button. So he
Mhm.
doesn't go through it here,
Yeah.
but you guys currently nobody has an epic totem. Currently they have epic totem claims. You're gonna have to claim your totem first.
And as you can see, it showed what you were currently producing and then what you're going to be able to get when you're done producing. And then boom, that's your lineup. That's everybody that's working and currently on your land. And then he'll go back through. We have really easy to clear everybody. So hey, I hate all these people. Boom, gone. Oh, I want to slot them back in. You can do that. It makes it really easy. We made sure that we wanted to have this so that it was it's obviously like not new player friendly because this is pretty advanced stuff, but it does mean that you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be able to figure out how to move them around and make the best choice of what's going to be on your land. You can select between which Rooney you also want staked, and again, whether you want the power core or not, you're able to toggle pretty easily. It's just a little plus button that's above the power core slot. um, and what I really like is if you look, it also has the box that shows what your current production was and then what it'll change to once you're done updating and dropping those new creatures on your land.
And then the other thing I like about it is that it works.
Yes. Big, 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 big.
Um,
And so yeah, we're just pretty much rolling through it there. So that's the uh the nuts and bolts of it. Hopefully players are able to feel good and see that it's a real thing and that we're not just saying that land is going to be here in a couple of years and then have it be like, oh, JK doesn't really work. Like, again, we have all of the staking and all of the kind of like behind the scenes work. And now it's just, how do we make it look really, really cool?
yeah. So if every plot gets utilized, we're going to need 750,000 max level cards. That's a little bit more than 3/4 of all the cards in the game. So some people are have been talking about, hey, we need. Oops, did I freeze?
You're here.
Okay, okay. I'm just a tree. I've been replaced by a tree.
That's how you know that you're truly Zen. Is Aggie is
Yeah,
turned into a
yeah.
tree and the
I'm
land
now
replaces.
translucent or something. Yeah. So I don't even remember what I was saying. But oh, and then so we have the different work sites. Like
Mhm.
what if I want to switch between work sites? What does that look like?
In what sense?
Um like so I built I the first week I decide, oh, I'm not going to get any grain. I'm just going to use the grain that came with my starter kit,
Mhm.
and I'm just going to full on mine SPS. But at some point I probably need to like actually get grain. So then I want to go switch from SPS mining to grain mining. What does that look like? How do I switch my work site?
I think that would be a better question for FARP than it would be for me. It's a little technical and I'm slow in the head.
No, maybe FARP can come on. But my understanding and what I've seen is that it takes um, 24 hours to switch, and you basically just need to tell the interface what you want it doing. So you'll lose production for 24 hours, but then you're back to producing.
hmm Cool. Well,
Um,
again, the one thing that we didn't want to do while designing a lot of this is again make it so that you feel like once you've gone down one path, you can't also do other things as well. I think that was some of the fears that I've read from people is that they felt like um, if they said, "Oh, I started with research and I realized that research isn't what I want to be collecting or developing," that your resources are sort of, locked in. And that's not the case. We encourage people to be able to fluctuate and meet the market wherever they think it's best.
all right. Oh, good. I was about to ask if we have anybody that wants to come on air, and it sounds like our very own Claiborne wants to be here. So
Clay.
let's go welcome Clay, and we can all talk in a low voice and see what Clay is interested in.
Oh,
Oh, and
Clay.
he's server muted or something. Let's get rid of that. Oh, Mr. Clay, how are things? I can't hear him. Can you
I
hear him?
I cannot either.
Yeah, this is usually the problem. My voice is like super low, so nobody can ever hardly hear me.
All right. Well, we got you loud and clear. So Clay, how are things? What are you up to,
Clay.
Clay?
Actually, things are going pretty good. I'm not sure, Egg, are you aware that we have a SPS DAO and there has been a lot of activity recently?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
a
seen a
few.
fair number of a flurry of proposals, a flurry of votes. I decided to not touch that one with a 10-foot pole and just let the community do what they want. Um, I don't know. Where do you are there things that you want to share about those particular proposals?
See, I think the most interesting thing to me, and whenever this all started, I was honestly not expecting things to go this way, with the modern bot ban and everything. Like honestly, it felt like to me most people were just kind of like resigned at the point where it's like, just let the bots auto farm. But I think it's really interesting, especially when you consider that over, two-thirds of actual staked SPS, not just like the little players, where people are like, it's just the little guys that don't like how things are. But like vested players seem to really want these changes, right? So like we're now seeing like the modern bot ban. We quickly saw like a lot of support for not only like a extension of that ban into tournaments and brawls, but we also ended up seeing, it was a bit more contentious, but the battle helper ban did get passed too. So I'm curious, like one of the problems with the proposal is there, and this was a lot of people's criticisms, is there essentially suggestions for the team, and like we can figure out what we want to do as far as like enforcement and detection goes. I'm just curious, like, how do you personally feel? I mean, like, so since the community is saying they want this, I mean, are you, as CEO, like, are you okay with at some point, not before land or anything, but like, at some point in the not too distant future, like maybe we can look into some ways to implement these?
Yeah, I mean, I've used the term servant king before. That is what I think of as my role. My role is to help make sure that this company is profitable, so that we keep building, so that the assets are secure on the chain. Um, but I make very simple decrees, and I say this is what is the biggest priority in this business, given the information that I have. And then it's really up to this community and this company to figure out exactly how to handle not just my priorities but the priorities of the team overall. And so my goal as a like in working with the DAO and working with the community is like, as long as this thing is not life threatening to the business, where you're like, if the DAO voted that Splinterlands could never go sell card packs again, that would kill our business, at least the way that we have it now. So I would vote against that and fight that. But as long as it's not like business killing, then my goal is going to be to go help and enact the things that this community wants. And that's true even if I don't particularly want them or like them. I'm fairly neutral on the bots. I don't hate them. I think that it's a tool, and some tools can be used well, and some can be used poorly. But I recognize that something like 70% of the stake doesn't want to hear. So I'm going to go help the people that own this stake and try to execute on the community's vision of what this thing should look like. This is not the Aggie show. I am not some like tyrant emperor. My goal is to go serve this community to the best of my ability. Um, and some things we'll have to figure out where that falls in priority. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go put banning bot helpers in front of getting land out. But we take it seriously. I think everybody in this company takes the what the DAO wants very seriously. So we'll make changes where appropriate, when appropriate, and there's already people that are trying to talk through what's this look like and what are the stages of this look like. And I think that's totally uh, uh, I'm happy with the way that things are going and happy with the way that people are kind of talking about it internally. So God bless. And these two, I don't some of these things I'll feel like particularly strong about and say this is the way it has to be. This one is a fairly technical like discussion. How do you detect these? How do you deal with them? How do you block them where appropriate? Um, and that's not stuff that's in my wheelhouse. So I'm going to let people that are better experts than me handle that. So if you ask me about it, I'll be like, I don't really know, but it's going on somewhere. I've authorized this, and it's in the workflow.
Yeah, I would also say that as always, a lot of the things that we're looking at off of these proposal DAO votes is it possible? That's the way that I sort of see them, is we are being asked to do a thing, and that we shouldn't we don't need to have extremely perfect solutions, because that's what we have such a wonderful team of people here for, is to be able to say, how do we do this and how do we do it right? And if it's, unable to be done right, then I feel like that's a conversation that would be able to come back and have. But really, the proposal DAO votes show that it's a priority that the community is interested in. Sometimes when we are working on things and developing things and doing all this stuff, like behind the scenes, it feels separated from, well, we're guessing kind of how players feel or what we think would be in the best interest of players. And these proposal votes are a really good litmus test of being able to tell us definitively, like, hey, this is what the community base sort of wants, or what they expect if we are to do something like this.
Yeah, and I do want to say one thing. After the last proposal, and like we implemented the what I guess I consider like a phase one bot ban. I will say I think kind of like watching the socials, interacting in the Discord. Overall, it seems like it's pretty overwhelmingly positive support for the changes. Now, I'm not like got blinders on there. There are some like vocal people that really don't like it, and I get it, right? Like they're used to things being a specific way. But I would say like it does seem like overwhelmingly people are happier with those changes. So I am interested to see how this kind of like shapes over time. But like, the more I think about it, I think a lot of the problems of like why bots even like ever really needed to exist is there's just not like, passive ways to use your cards, like a passive, stream or circle in the economy. And I really think like land, especially once land surfing becomes available, it's going to give people more than enough places to go put cards and earn on them. I mean, I think like even if you look at people like look at Ag, right? Like look at like Matt Clark, like these people that have regions, and there's like I know Matt Clark has a lot of flesh golems, but I don't think he has enough to cover all those castles. You know what I'm saying?
And just for the record, I'm not entirely positive I have enough cards to fill a region. I have what I'd consider a giant collection of cards. The last time I checked, it had 25 million production points that were part of it. I think that's a hefty collection. Um, Zircon was sharing that his was something like 5 million, and he's another like pretty big whale. So um, that's a healthy amount of cards. And even with that healthy amount of cards, I'm not sure that I have everything I need for the region. Um, so, there's going to be a lot of scrambling. People are going to do the best that they can with the budget that they have to go get the cards that they need, the DEC that they need, the titles, the totems, the Rooney. There's a lot of crap that you need in this game to sort of maximize the amount of stuff that you get. And it the region holders, which are really the whales, they're going to fight. There's no other way around it. You're going to fight. And one thing I noticed just in my own personal behavior, not all my cards would rent. And then when they did rent, I wasn't always happy with the price, but it's what I got. Here, what's going to happen is we're going for, if you have these cards, if you have this stuff, you're going to place it on land. I mean, I'm not going to rent my cards to you guys. I'm going to go work my land. So it's going to be kind of funky in the rental market. It's not going to be oversupplied like it was before. Or at least that's where I think it's trending. I don't want to claim to have any kind of crystal ball, but um, I can at least share that my cards are off market.
Well, I know there's other people that are waiting, so I'm not going to take up too much time. But I do want to say I'm definitely not the chief FOMO officer. I'm rarely what I would consider a hype man. But
At
I
all.
got to be honest. Like I got to be honest with all the things that I know are coming up, with all the changes I'm seeing, with land right around the corner. Like this is probably the most excited I've ever been for this project since the day you asked me if I wanted to come work with you. So just put that in perspective. I think we're on the right track. I think there's a lot of awesomeness to come before the year is up. But I'm going to try to temper my expectations as always. But I'm quite optimistic.
I get goosebumps, man. I get goosebumps, and at times I get teary over this thing. I'm pretty excited. So Pretty amazing. And thanks for asking your questions, Clay. It sounds like there's some other folks that want to go come on in and talk. Who else do we have? Let's bring them both on. So it's going to be Eric the Red, and I think there's one other. And
Oh,
Maury.
Maury. I love Maury.
All right. Let's start with Eric. And Eric, welcome to the show. Are you able to speak?
Thank you, sir. I think so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can hear you great.
Hello.
All
How's
right,
it
cool.
going?
Well, how are you?
Just fine. What's on your brain?
I wanted to ask about the Secret of Pretoria and if we have any time range of how long it will take before like the first people will get to that.
I mean,
Hmm.
it's going to be quite a while. It's not even on the chronological calendar for for you or for us right now because it is something that is going to take quite a while. If you remember how WoW did a similar sort of thing, it took years for that to be accomplished. That's sort of the same methodology that's going to be implemented here.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like
So
we're pretty safe saying at least a year.
at least a year.
Easily.
Okay,
My
cool.
my personal plan, the magic land goes and gives you a bonus to research. So I'm certainly planning on stacking all my my best monsters that I can on my magic plots. But that's about the extent that I'm planning on doing research. Matt, however, is like all about research and plans to do a lot more. But my current plan is just you know, I don't need to get ahead of everybody. I want a steady pace. So I'm planning on doing magical plots and setting those to research, but the rest should be grain and SBS for me. Just things to consider. That's not financial advice. I just think it's important that people hear what I'm thinking or what I want to do. I do want
Yeah,
more
cool.
SBS. Anything else there, sir? Is that
Nope,
it for the questions?
that's it for me. Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming on, Eric,
Thank
and
you.
thanks for being part of our community. Glad to have you here. All right. Next up, we got Maury. Maury, can you speak? Maury. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Maury, are you there, bro? Bruh,
Maybe he's riveting.
bruh, are you there?
Bruh.
All right. We're gonna have to deal with Maury. Whoa, Maury is sharing his camera. This is weird, Maury. We can't hear you. I can see your face.
That you double check your Discord voice and video settings, and it's detecting your mic, and you can even do a little check right there to see that that it's working.
Yeah, just in the settings through your voice and video within Discord. I can't hear you, Maury. Can you speak again? No. Maybe you got to refresh or something, or check your audio settings. I can't hear you.
Just go ahead and figure out your settings, request to become a speaker again, and we'll get you in here, and we'll answer some text questions in the meantime.
Yeah, a lot of the text questions I saw were all under. Um, I saw a lot of stuff that was under the grain and how we're going to deal with grain. I thought that we answered that pretty well. I see a question here from New Age in OG of the OGs. Nice to see you again, New Age. I assume that the DAO will bear the cost of all these proposal implementations, right? It would be unfair to request the company to pay for these. Have you considered this when moving forward? Most of this that was at
740.
that was 740. Maybe there's earlier questions too. Somebody could copy them and repopulate them. I don't know that I can scroll and do all of this at once, but um, if it's something big, then we might ask for compensation. But generally, our goal as a company is to feed the DAO money, not take too much money from the DAO. But at some point, we might actually stop being a company that sells products directly to the Splinterlands community. We might just become a project that takes orders from the DAO, and then the DAO can reap the rewards. So how we do things in the future may be different. At least for the DAO proposal stuff right now, there hasn't been gigantic ass. So we're just mostly willing to go, absorb this. But if the DAO votes for we want a Splinterlands real-time strategy game, like, yeah, okay, that's great, but we have no capacity for that, so you guys are going to have to pay for it. But stuff like that, we can try there. Um, let's see. Question: are we able to buy time crystal straight away? Yes. Confirmed land will all go on in 16 August if no big bugs are found. So we're not putting on specific dates.
No
The
dates.
first date that we have announced is this weekend. So it's not even a singular date. It's a range of dates that we'll try to get it on Mavs, and then we'll see what date we can actually get in August to go pump the whole thing out. But it's like it's like a SpaceX launch or something, right? Like you have it there and you expect something to happen, but you got to run through your checks and see if everything is right. So I don't know. That was the first thing I could think of. Let's try Maury. Maury, can you say hi?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me now?
Hey,
There
there we
you
go.
are.
Maury, how are
Oh,
things?
amazing.
All right.
First, I want to say congratulations to releasing soon. Everything looks amazing. I'm very excited about it.
Good.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I have a question regarding the research too. My question is, so far, I think almost all of the reward pools in the game are like the rewards are coming out of pools. So this, creates excitement because people want to be first because they get a lot of rewards out of the pool. If there's not that many players who share the pool, and also the rewards are like time gated in a way, right? There's only like a specific amount of rewards every day or every month. And somehow for the research, it's different, right? There's no pool where the research tokens come out of. And I wonder why you chose to do it that way. I see a little bit of an issue with it because I think it does not incentivize people to get into research early because they could easily catch up later, like the research rewards are not going to be bigger early when there's less players. And also somebody could just, like a whale could just in 6 months switch all his plots to research and catch up with somebody who had been doing research for half a year. So is there any specific reason why you chose to do the rewards for research in a different way and not pay out from a pool?
That's more of a design question. So
Yeah.
that I think is best suited for Matt, who isn't here. I can tell you, at the time I was aware of that and said, okay, having a different mechanism is good. Um, I hear you on a whale could go change their entire lineup and try to get there. I do think that you get an advantage for being early because you're going to get a head start versus everybody else. So as like, research is in my brain, it's going to gate things that you can do. So if you don't have enough research, you're going to be gated from things that people that have research can do. Um, and so, what's the consequence of that? It might not be a whole lot early on when like research gating is inexpensive, but it's possible that later on it's going to be very, you're going to have to do a ton of research and it's actually going to take you quite a bit of time and effort. And if you are, moving all of your land plots over to research, you're missing out on a ton of SBS and grain as you do that. So, in my brain, there is a cost of not participating early, but it is still an unknown, and it's not as dramatic as the reward pool that you're describing. But I would say those things were known at the time that we released this plan, and so I think some of that's going to come into like some of the 2.0 and beyond design in terms of like how much research do you need before different parts of this are open to you.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I just think there could be the strategy of because research is not gonna, let's say, like pay off for a while. So there might be the strategy of people doing different things and then compounding whatever they earn into increasing their land production, and then later on have more production power to do research with it. I mean, that's fine, of course, right? Everybody can use whatever strategy they want. I was just a little bit surprised that almost all rewards come out of pools, but just the research does not. So
Yeah,
but
it's
I understand it's more of a Matt question.
Yeah, that's more of a Matt question. It's a known, and not everything should work the exact same way. So we'll see how this goes. And you know, after it launches, I think it would be pretty tough to get to change. But if it's a broken mechanism and nobody likes it in the community, and there's enough support, maybe we'll actually change that. But once this thing goes live, I think it's going to be pretty hard to do. But we'll see. And I would more than say it's good or bad or wrong or right. I would just say all of your observations are correct. This thing works differently, and you guys should plan for it accordingly.
All right, so that's it from me. And I wanted to mention quickly, I'm really blown away by the art of everything I've seen for land so far. I think the creative team they have outdone themselves when it comes to land. So I'm really happy to see that,
Yeah,
and I
think
can't
it's a
wait
really
to start
talented
working on my
team.
plots.
Super talented team, and I feel the same way. Some of this you just have to, like, at the end of it, just kind of ask your gut: is this going to work? Will this dog hunt? And my answer is a very strong yes. And I think a big part of that is not just the functionality that the enhancements team was able to bring, but the sort of like beauty and aesthetics that the creative team was able to bring. Any thoughts on that, Weirdbeard?
I think that Nate and the team killed it. We're really working hard to get the fidelity and the look of everything to be just as interesting, and to be able to not just go, oh, don't worry, just squint your eyes and it looks passable. Like, I think that the land stuff that's coming out with land 1.5 is to date the best looking stuff that the game has. So having that on something as important as land is a great position to be in.
All right. So, do we have anybody else raising their hands? All right. Maury, anything else from you, sir?
No, that's it from me. Thanks for answering the questions, and thanks for, in general, always being there to answer a lot of questions. It's a huge part of this game to me to get that much feedback from you guys.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for giving us some questions, and thanks for pointing out some design pieces that everybody should be considering. All right.
Okay.
So I'm going
Fine.
back to 748, and I'm going to go pound through a couple questions because we only have like 5 more minutes. Is there any chance that we will see Untamed rotate out before Rebellion comes out? Feels like we have plenty of cards, especially if the new mini set comes out with partnership. Anything that we want to say here yet?
No.
All right.
But unfortunately, I don't think that Untamed will not be rotating out before any release.
Okay. So we have sort of meetings around this stuff coming up. So hopefully in the not too distant future, we can give you a clearer answer. That is a fine question and a good question. We just want to make sure that we're all on the same team and all on the same page there. But um, our roadmap is coming up on I think it's the 17th and 18th is our planning.
Yes.
So hopefully a week after that. So basically by the end of the month, we should be able to go have a new roadmap of what we're planning on getting done in this next age, as we call it, or PI plan, as the agile people call it. Hewitt's asking, can someone use a Rooney that is delegated to them on land, or do you need to control the ETH wallet? Pretty sure that you have to have it in your own ETH wallet.
Correct.
Or at least the ETH wallet has to be connected to your account. So I imagine that could be somebody else's ETH wallet, but they have to like sign a transaction, right?
Yeah, like somebody can't send you a Rooney and you just go, okay, here, I'm going to use this. Like, you need to be in control of it in order to be able to stake it on your land.
Yeah, so just delegated Rooney doesn't count.
Mhm.
Did I hear land 1.6 earlier? And does that mean land 2.0 or just some 1.7, 1.8 smaller changes before 2.0 along the roadmap? So the main thing to me is that surfing isn't part of 1.5. There's like a little bit of other stuff too, but the big one to me is surfing isn't there. We want to go add that, but it wasn't critical for release. So we said, all right, we'll just do this over kind of 2 steps. The first one will be land 1.5, and the second part will be land 1.6. It's not really like delaying land 2.0, increasing, changing the scope or anything like that. It's just like, hey, we could roll out 1.5 now, or we could build surfing and roll the whole thing out in like, I don't know, a month or a month and a half later. And maybe that's the wrong timeline, but uh, somewhere in that range, a couple months. And we just thought it would be better to roll it out now than wait a couple months to get surfing in. Did I misspeak there?
No. Also, we did miss a question from Commander Chaos. He said, "Will there be a Splinterfest this year or next year?" As far as I know, we are definitely not having a Splinterfest this year.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna make it this year, but I don't know if markets go absolutely ham. Maybe that's something that we do, but it would probably be early next year at this point because I think you need at least 6 months to really plan that.
Please, I want to make it cool.
Um, let's see. Question. This is at 7:51. Any tips for the splinter heads to neutralize the fear of the whales? I mean, there's no way to like neutralize your fear, but I would say, when the whales are competing, that's great for everybody in this game, and I think that the land is going to force whales to compete more than they ever have before, and I think that's going to be super exciting. Um, Dave McCoy is asking, can you give the streamers access to the testnet with a 1 day relative lead to the Mavs access? The goal would be so that they can preview it for us. I think it would help spread the word about land at the same time, giving our own streamers information that can help them get more viewers. I think it would be fair to give streamers access to the Mavs server. I don't know that I need that to be different, but
Yeah, if anything, we would let them into the Mav server and not giving them earlier access than everybody else. Again, because once it's ready and in a finished like final polished state, it is going up on the Mav server. This is just a really complicated release for other ones in the future. We'd love to be able to do early looks from specific streamers, but it's just timing wise probably not going to work out too great for this specific one.
well, I also think
Okay.
that the streamers actually have the access. So they're on Mavs and they're able to view some of this. So I don't think that we are putting brakes on that. I don't think there's a lead. I don't think they get a 1 day head start, but I think that the streamers, especially those that are around this weekend, are gonna hit you over the head with some land goodness.
Yeah.
Are there any fees associated with transferring grain and gain peer to peer, or is it only for withdrawing to Hive Engine? Yeah, that's like part of the tax system that when you're transferring grain to various places, that there's fees and reductions. Maybe FARP wants to answer more specifically what those
Yeah,
are, but
he did. So he said, so there are two different transfers for grain right now. One is to load it into the game. This is fee free. Two is to transfer it to another region player, and this has fees. The Hive Bridge and in-game pools are 1.6 things. The Hive Bridge will have the fee mentioned in the white paper.
yeah, so fees, and then ways to reduce fees so that there's stuff that you can build and be excited for. EK Low is asking, is research tied to the landowner? Does it stay with the plot? Are research points transferable in any way?
We are talking a lot about research when research is like
That's what,
2.0.
well, I mean, it makes sense. You definitely
Yeah.
want to get a head start on research because, like, if you just wait, you might find that you get like gated. It's hard to say exactly how much research you should do. That's why my strategy is something like, get it where the bonuses are. But in terms of research points transferable, they are not transferable. It doesn't stay with the plot. Is that in the region or with the landowner?
I think it's region, but I
Yeah,
could
I think
again
it's
be
region
wrong.
specific. That makes sense to me. So, um, so if you're across multiple regions, you're going to need multiple bits of research to make sure that the research can do stuff. Um, Can we combine totem fragments or buy and sell them in 1.5 or 1.6? So that's another part of the 1.6 that we need to get in is
Yes.
like combining like when you mine, you have some chance of getting totem fragments, but there's no way to go kind of assemble the fragments into totems. So that's, it's going to take you guys a while to go get enough totems together so that you can make them. So that was another thing that we kind of shoved into 1.6. I thought I answered your commander. Question about Soul Keep roadmap. Anything that you want to share about Soul Keep?
We're still in conversations with Double Coconut and able to be in order to be able to get it out, and we should be able to go public with an announcement here very shortly.
Yeah, that's another one that's like basically ready at the end of the PI quarter, right?
Mhm. Close
So-
enough. I don't want to commit to any timelines or have anybody here, but it's there. We just need to do it the correct way.
And we also don't want them to mess with land, right? Like,
Mhm.
so I don't know. We got to get that baby out. I guess we have twins. We got to deliver twins. But you know, land is the highest priority right now. And I think that's it. Am I frozen? Weirdbeard, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. So we hit 8:02. That's the end of the Splinterlands town square. So I think that this is a monumental achievement for us. It's a little early to like start doing shoulder patting and high fives. We got to get this thing out on Mavs, and then we got to get this thing live. But this weekend, it goes live on Mavs, and you guys want your Rooney, you want your DEC. I'm positive you guys don't have enough DEC. You're going to want your cards. You're going to want your the titles that you can purchase on the in the non-card market, and you're going to want your Rooney core, and you're going to want your totems. And of course you want your land. You're going to want your magic, your occupied, your legendary land. You're going to want your castles, your keeps. Stuff is here. Stuff is now. This stuff is happening. So call your wife, call your kids. Everybody's doing land around here. That's what I know. Weirdbeard, any final thoughts that you want to share with the crew?
Bear with us. We're working hard. We're trying to get the stuff out. Again, we're hoping by the end of the weekend, but as always, extend grace to our wonderful development team, our programmers, our artists, our everybody. This team is here to work for you, the community, and thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it doesn't actually help us to hear when every single day over this weekend. So I can assure you, everybody is trying to push this baby out. And if there are problems, we'll let you know if there's problems. We'll try to communicate that early if there's some big bug that we find while doing something. But right now, everything looks forward. Retro Thrusters are go. Seems like we're gonna form this giant monster. We're gonna get this baby out, and land is literally right around the corner. So you guys are wonderful. Pray for our dev team, pray for our community. Let's get this thing out here. It should be amazing. And many blessings to everybody that has waited this long and been patient with us as we've tried to get this thing out. And I think it's going to be amazing. Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much.
When chaos reigns and hope is lost, when your darkest days aren't saved by the dawn, we bring the light to help guide the way. We are with you. We are the Rift Watchers. When your enemies have spread far and wide, when you're out of places to run and hide, follow the runes. Help is on the way. We stand with you. We are the Rift Watchers.